What is up, people of the internet? It is me, Real American, back in with a new video. And today, it is time that we do another congressional prediction for the 2024 House races. Now, let me be clear before we start. Number one, it's hard to tell with redistricting in certain states. North Carolina, New York, Wisconsin. Those are the three states everybody's kind of looking to. Ohio, kind of. So that's the first caveat. So we're expecting significant changes in North Carolina, slight changes in Ohio, Wisconsin to be determined. New York, it appears we're going to see some changes, though. It is hard to tell. So those are the four states that they're the biggest to change for House predictions and stuff. And number two, the generic ballot. I have to stress this enough. I cannot stress this enough. It is a neutral generic ballot. That means it's not D+1, not D+5. It's D+0 or R+0. Why? Well, the generic ballot polling we got so far, when you average it out, is around a neutral environment. In fact, it's actually leaning a bit Republican. So that's what it looks like we're going to have in 24, a neutral generic ballot. So things are going to change, absolutely. I don't think it's going to be an R+0 generic ballot, but it could be even better. Who knows? And there's a third caveat. Turnout's going to be much higher in 2024. Do people not get this? There are a lot of Republican voters that flat out did not vote in 22. That's a fact. The electorate nationally was Biden +4. Even then, Republicans won the generic ballot by 3. Now, before we continue today's video, I hope you enjoy these type of videos. If you do, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the Twitter accounts in the description down below. Go follow the Rumble page, guys. You want some exclusive videos? Go to Rumble, because there are some videos that, man, I actually enjoy Rumble. I am shocked that I'm actually enjoying the content that I'm posting exclusive to Rumble. Again, we're going to have content on both YouTube and Rumble, but there's some videos here and there I'm just going to push just on Rumble. So again, YouTube, I'm not saying anything bad. I'm just saying that, hey, some videos I decided to put just on Rumble, but most of the videos will be on both. And of course, join the channel today. Guys, just for $3 a month, you could join Real American, which is a phenomenal deal as it helps support the daily content we all know and love. You love the daily content? Well, this is the best way to support it. So I hope and recommend you join the channel today. Alright, everybody, let's get into it. So, like I said earlier, I have different ratings for House predictions compared to Senate predictions or presidential predictions. Lean means there's like less than like probably a 75% chance it goes this way, while safe is over 75%. So people I know are taken out of context. When it's safe, that means, for example, you know, Andy Ogles, sure, it may get within 10 points. That's not what this is predicting. This is predicting probability. What is the chance they hold on? And safe is over 75%. Lean is below 75%. So all these districts in, I guess you could say, the toss-up category, they're within 75% either way. So they're not, over 75%. You get the point. So don't take this out of context like certain people have done. So let us get started with Alaska. Now, we have a serious problem with Alaska. The fact is, the ranked choice voting garbage has enabled Democrats to flip the congressional seat this in 2022. It's pathetic, and really the only one that I could see possibly beating Patola is somebody like Chewbacca. She's the only one that I could see that could beat her, but for now, we don't really know enough. I have to go with the incumbent in this race. So it is leaning Democrat. That doesn't mean it's going to be a 5-6 point victory. It just means it's a probability is she's going to win as of now. Now we get Arizona. Oh boy, there's really two congressional seats that matter. Eli Crane, again, just because it's safe doesn't mean it's over 10 points. It just means it's more than likely he's going to win that race. He has like over a 75% chance of winning. But the other two, David Schweikart and Juan Cismani. You know, I think in Arizona 6, we're looking okay. He's an incumbent now, and he won by around a 1.5. He won by 1.5 points. This is only a Biden plus 0.1 seat, so people making it sound like it's some extremely Democrat seat. It's not. Now he has the added factor of incumbency. And is it trending kind of Democrat? Yes, but with turnout and stuff, I don't think it's gonna swing that much. I think he wins by probably a similar margin as he did last time. Now, David Schweikart, this is a tough one for me. He's trying to distance himself from the Tea Party. He's trying to come off as more moderate. Here's the problem. This district is swinging heavy Democrat. It's a miracle he won in 2022. He won it by around a point. This is a Biden 1.5 seat. The problem for him is, well, it's trending Democrat. But the good news is the one guy that would have taken out Schweikart has said he's not running again. And some lunatic is running his position. So while Schweikart has a hard path to victory, with the news that the guy that almost took him out isn't running again, and he's actually a fairly strong candidate in his own right, this district is leaning Republican because Democrats, they're panicking in this seat. The one guy they were banking on running, he's not running. That is good news for Schweikart. Now again, will this change? Probably, but the fact that Schweikart doesn't have to hopefully waste resources on an unnecessary primary, that was stupid. I mean, people forget, there was significant primary challengers to Schweikart. It definitely hurt him, and I think he will, especially with the news of the candidate that went against him in 22 not running again. That should bode well with, hopefully, a victory for David Schweikart. Now we got California. Now, Kevin Kiley, he's going to win. Stop this crap that, he's going to, he's not going to win by 15, but his probability of winning is so high that I just don't see how you can say he somehow loses at the end of the day. Now, John Girardi, he's trying to come off as a moderate, and the Democrats, I think, are getting a bit too comfortable here. They really think Girardi's an easy flip. I mean, their first targets, they're not investing much in California 13th. It's like, what are you doing? Even then, it's borderline, I would say as of now, a guaranteed flip in California 13th. Again, things can absolutely change. Yes. I don't see how he pulls it off as of now. The one thing that he has going for him is he's an incumbent now. Outside of that, it's Biden a plus 11 seat, but it is trending a bit Republican. I don't think it's going to be a foregone conclusion Girardi loses, like certain people hope he does. Either way, I have it as leaning Democrat. That just means there's a good chance he probably loses at the end of the day. Now, good news for Republicans. David Valadao, I think, is in a decent spot. If you don't know, the Democrats, apparently they're not going to invest that much in California 22nd. I don't know why. Do they really think it's a free flip? Valadao, if he was going to lose, 2022 was his best shot of losing. Why? Yes, it was a red wave. But here's the thing, though. It was a Biden plus 13 seat. He voted for impeachment. A lot of the base hated the guy. Even then, he still won by 3. Now, with turnout, it's going to be a bit harder for him to win. But I think Valadao, as of now, is the slight favorite. Just the skin of his teeth, the slight favorite in California 22nd. California 27th, Garcia's going to probably hold on. It's going to be much closer than last time, but he's doing a damn good job. People are just ignoring the fact that he has a freaking machine going on in California 27th. Plus, all the Republicans did good in his seat last year. Again, he did the best, obviously, but there's maybe some signs that Garcia is looking pretty solid in his seat. Now, Ken Calvert, it's ridiculous that the seat's even that close, but he is the favorite just because he is an incumbent, and this is a Trump plus 1 seat still. So with higher turnout, Calvert should probably hold on. Similar deal with Michelle Steele. It will be much closer, let's be real here, but it's only a Biden plus 6 seat, and it's looking pretty surprisingly. It's not looking too bad for Republicans in Orange County. Now, I never thought I would say that, but Republicans did damn good in Orange County, and Michelle Steele looks pretty poised to hold on in 2024. Not by 5 points, but maybe a point or two. Now, California 47th. With Katie Porter running for the U.S. Senate, this one's going to be, this is going to be much closer than it should be. Now, here's the question. Was Katie Porter just a bad candidate for the seat? There's some data to indicate yes. So I'm not going to go around saying that's going to be a flip for Republicans, but apparently the guy that nearly took out Porter in spite of being outspent, 50-1? Apparently he's running again, and Katie Porter's running for the U.S. Senate. So with that in mind, I think it still is leaning Democrat, but it's such a hard one. Is Porter just a bad fit for the district? It's to be determined. We just got to see what happens. Now we get the 2 Colorado seats. Boebert and Carrillo. Colorado 3rd. Here's the problem for Boebert. There was some polling data that came out. She is not well liked in the seat. However, low turnout, and we saw statistically the low turnout did hurt Boebert. I mean, people seemingly forgot. She did around a point or two worse than Trump in 2020 in her seat. This time around, she did about a point worse than O'Dea. And O'Dea did terrible in this seat. So with that in mind, plus it being a higher turnout election, it's going to be much closer than it should be, but I think Boebert does pull off the end of the day. Colorado 8th. This seat, 100% O'Dea sunk us in. We 100% lost this seat because of O'Dea. And I don't think we're going to win it this time around because it is an incumbent seat now. But it is slightly shifting Republican. And in spite of O'Dea crapping the bed statewide, she almost lost. And quite frankly, she should have lost with all those independents. Now, do Republicans have a chance here? Yes. I mean, the pro-life voter in the or the pro-life candidate in the suburbs did better than the quote-unquote pro-choice Republican Joe O'Dea here by a couple points. So I think this is a seat that is winnable for Republicans, but as of now, I just do not see how Republicans pull it off. Now, Connecticut 5th, it's leaning Democrat. Apparently, I think George Logan will run again. That's the only reason we're going to have a leaning Democrat. To be determined, it probably will be safe at the end of the day. Now, there's a lot of seats that people are going to say, they're leaning Republican. Mills isn't losing. He's a foregone conclusion. He's going to pull it off. Anna Luna, she's going to win. She's not going to win by 15 or something like that, but she probably will win by a couple points. So it's a foregone conclusion. Democrats need a best case scenario to win Florida 13, and even then, that's probably out of the window. There's really only 2 seats that are somewhat competitive. Florida 9 and Florida 23rd. Now, Florida 9, this should be an easy flip for us. The problem, the same loser candidate that lost in 2022, mind you, was the establishment candidate. These people are trying to change the narrative. He was the establishment pick in Florida 9. This loser lost by 7 in a DeSantis +1 seat. People are crapping on Luna for only winning by 8, when it was like a DeSantis plus, I think 10, 12 seat or something like that. The loser in Florida 9th was one of the biggest underperformers of any candidate, and that was against a fairly weak Soto. Even then, I think it is leaning Democrat just because of trends, but man, do not run the same hack as you did in 2024. How? How? Just the establishment picks these crappy candidates. They always say, Masters can't run again because when he gets a strong candidate. Well, when their establishment candidates got through in 22, they all nearly got crushed. So I don't want to hear it. In Florida 23rd, it's shifting Republican, but that's about it. It will be leaning Democrat. Best case scenario, Republicans probably do pick off Florida 23rd, but that's probably not likely. Now we got Illinois. There's really only one seat that's competitive. Illinois 17th, Eric Sorensen. It's leaning Democrat. Now, if we don't pick the same hack as we did the past couple of years, we could pick it off. Sorensen is, I don't know, he's just not good. But even then, Bailey won the district, I believe, where he came close to it, which is a freaking miracle. But I just got to see more to make the indication that, yes, I think Sorensen will lose, but I just don't see it as of now. Indiana first, leaning Democrat. I'm not even going to play around with that. Barring if the Indiana GOP grew a couple stones and, well, decided to redistrict, that's the only way you could potentially pick off Frank Mervyn for now. Could it happen? Yes. Is it unlikely? Double yes. Iowa third, Zach Dunn's going to win. You know, it's going to be down the wire, but I think he did good he did okay in 2022. Now he's an incumbent. He ran against an incumbent in 2022. And this is a seat that's not really trending anywhere. It's kind of just sitting there, but Zach Dunn, he's an incumbent now. He probably gets a couple point boost. And with it being a higher turnout election, you could probably expect him to probably do a half point better. So I think he will win Iowa third by probably a point or so. It will be close, but I think Democrats or Republicans will pull it off. Now, Maine, it comes down to Golden. And Golden is probably going to run for re-election, unless he runs for the Senate seat. Then it could flip, but for now, Maine second is going to stay Democrat, which is a shame. It's a shame that we can't pick off Maine second, a Trump plus 6 seat. That's just pathetic. Let's be real here. That is absolutely useless. Now we got Michigan. So, Elisa Slotkin is running for that Senate seat, and she does bring unique strength to her district in Michigan 7th. All right, that's why she overperformed the ticket by a couple points in her own district. Here is the problem for Republicans. Yes, she's not running for House again. She's running for the Senate. And if she becomes a Senate nominee, which is probably likely, I think she will help Democrats in particular in Michigan 7th. I don't think it's going to be like a 15-point boost, but I think for now it is leaning Democrat, though Michigan 7th could be a seat, especially with somebody like Trump on the ballot, that it could flip. But for now, Michigan 7th is pretty likely to stay Democrat. Dan Kildee, he's going to hold on, not as much as he did. A lot of these margins by somebody like Dan Kildee was inflated by the top of the ticket imploding for the Michigan GOP. Now, John James, people are just ignoring the fact that Dixon lost his seat by, 15? The fact John James won Michigan 10th as a non-incumbent in a Biden plus 7 electorate in Michigan and in the same district that Whitmer won by double digits. The fact that he even won in the first place is a miracle, and I think he will hold on. It will be closer than it should be, but I think at the end of the day, he will hold on. Angie Craig will hold on in Minnesota 2nd. I'm not even gonna talk about that. That's kind of, I think, obvious. Now, Montana first. Ryan Zinke, go away. You're making this race unusually competitive. And I think Ryan Zinke, though, he's probably going to run for re-election. He's probably going to be the nominee again in Montana first. I think he holds on, but it's probably because of somebody like Trump being on the ballot. It is pathetic that Ryan Zinke did that bad in 2022 in Montana. I mean, when Rosendale did 10 points better than Zinke. I know Rosendale had a third-party candidate, but even then it's really? I mean, this is another establishment clown that they never talk about underperforming. Oh, Luna did a point worse than DeSantis in her seat, but Zinke craps the bed. He should be the Senate nominee. Yeah, whatever. Now Nebraska. Don Bacon, I think, is done. I think for now, Bacon's done. This seat is trending significantly Democrat, and he underperformed by a lot. Now, was this because of turnout? Maybe. Maybe this was because of some unusual turnout, but in a Biden plus 60, he usually overperformed Trump by 8 or 10 points or something like that. He only did a couple points. He did a couple points worse than he did in 2020 in a more Republican seat. It's not looking too good for Don Bacon. I do not think he holds on as of now. Could he? Yes. Is it likely? No. Now we get Nevada. And, ooh, you know, this is a state where I think all three of the seats are leaning Democrat, but if there is one that it would flip, it would be Horsford. Horsford's seat's the easiest to flip, in my opinion, because Horsford's an awful candidate. I mean, all three of these seats are shifting Republican, and I think it is a matter of time before you flip something like Nevada 4th, then something like Nevada 3rd probably, then Nevada 1st. But I think for now, all three of these seats are leaning Democrat, though if Trump, probably Trump at this point, wins Nevada by a couple points, you're going to actually possibly see all three of these seats flip to the Republicans. I think only one probably does flip in Nevada 4th, but for now, we just got to wait and see before we make that assumption. New Hampshire, another seat where it's like, we're not winning. If you do worse than Trump in New Hampshire first, and I know that was an incumbent, but still, you did 2 points worse than Trump? It's like, yeesh, that's not good. Now, New Jersey 7th. Tom Keene's going to hold on. He's an incumbent now, and usually incumbents in a state like New Jersey do pretty good. I mean, look at Jeff Van Drew. He overperformed Trump by 15. I mean, yes, I know Van Drew was a former Democrat, but still, I mean, he did a damn good job in New Jersey 2nd. Incumbency in a state like New Jersey does give a couple point boost, usually. Now, sometimes if you're incompetent and corrupt like Bob Menendez, it could be hurt badly, but I think Tom Keene with incumbency does hold on. Now, New Mexico. Good news. Yavin Harrell will be running for running again. Now, it appears she's not going to have to go through a primary. Kevin McCarthy has already said she's our candidate in New Mexico 2nd. And she's a good campaigner. I think, truly, with the national environment underperforming as much as it did, that's what dug her in. And people were saying, oh, you predicted a safe New Mexico 2nd. That just meant that I thought she was a significant favorite, over a 75% chance of winning. And while I think this is leaning Democrat, I think Republicans could potentially win New Mexico 2nd. It could happen. I mean, and again, it may get drawn redistricted. We don't know. If it does, Harrell's 100% going to pull it off. Or I'm not going to say 100%, but she is in a good position to pull it off if New Mexico 2nd does, in fact, get drawn again. Because there's a lawsuit pending in New Mexico, and it may happen. Now we're getting to the one state that everybody's discussing, New York. Here is the problem that we got predicting New York. Redistricting is going to be a tire fire, and I'm only going to predict some assumptions, all right? We're going to say George Santos, his seat's probably done. I'm not going to elaborate any further. Anthony DeSpato, I probably would assume he's probably done as well with redistricting. Now, Michael Lawler, I think Lawler's actually playing it kind of smart here. I think Lawler, though, it is a Biden plus 10 seat, but we're going to see, was this Zeldin momentum fake news and a fluke? It's to be determined. I think Lawler does kick the can in 2024, but there's a serious shot he pulls it off. It just comes down to redistricting. Same thing with Pat Ryan. I do think he does win at the end of the day, though New York 19 with Mark Molinaro, he should probably win. I mean, it only is a Biden plus 4.5 seat, and if it's a generic ballot of a neutral environment, I think Republicans are in decent enough shape to hold down the New York 19th. And Brandon Williams is another candidate that, it just comes down to redistricting. But as of now, I think you will see Williams again. With redistricting, you could change these two seats with like New York 17th or whatever. It's just to be determined. We do not know with redistricting. Let me be clear. It's going to come down to what do the new maps look like. So this is my prediction. I think Republicans do keep a couple of the seats, so like 2 of these seats, so the competitive seats. It just depends how redistricting looks for Republicans. Same deal for North Carolina. I think it's not looking too good for Don Davis of North Carolina first. Let's be real here. He's probably cooked. Similar deal in North Carolina 13th. I mean, I've heard some of the maps they're going to propose. You thought the New York Democrats were brutal. Oh, man. Or Texas GOP. You haven't seen anything yet. For sure, these two are gone. And you're probably going to see Kathy Manning. Her district, I heard, is not going to look pretty as well. Now, the big question mark is Jeff Jackson. I think we'll just make it lean Democrat for now. I think these 3 seats, North Carolina 1st, 13th, and 6th, they're all destined to be fairly Republican now with redistricting. Again, this is based on redistricting. That is what I'm trying to say. If redistricting goes as we expected, which I think it will in North Carolina, New York, it's a question mark because the Supreme Court has to rule on it in New York, and there's a chance they may keep a similar map. We just got to see. For now, I think in North Carolina, they kind of negate some of the gains that they do make in the state of New York. Now, Ohio. Redistricting aside, it's probably going to stay roughly the same. Amelia Sykes, I think, will lose, but Captor will probably win. The only way that Captor loses is if you get Toledo out of her seat. That's the only possible way she would lose. The reason I think Sykes wins is this is a Republican trending seat, and you will have Trump on the ballot. This will be a higher turnout race. And plus, Sykes went against one of the worst candidates of 2022 in Gilbert. She was awful. And hopefully with Greg Wheeler, he pulls it off. And I think he will at the end of the day. So Ohio 13th, I think, is leaning towards the Republicans. Now, Oregon. Oregon 6, probably leaning Democrat. It was a lot closer than expected, but I think it is, as of now, leaning Democrat. Now, Larry Chavez de Raymer. This is a tough one. Oh, man. This is a tough one for me because, yes, this is a Biden plus 9 seat. However, she still won by 2 points, and she's an incumbent now. Now, the question is, was this just because of the governorship race? And I'm inclined as of now to say yes. So, again, it's so early to tell. We cannot tell if it was just a fluke. But for now, we will have North Carolina or Oregon 5th stay Democrat. Now, Pennsylvania. Now, Pennsylvania has 4 seats. Brian Fitzpatrick, he's not going to lose. Let's be 100% real. He's real. Let's be 100% real. He's going to win. Now, the other 4, Susan Wild's seat, Matt Cartwright's seat, Scott Perry's seat, Chris Deluzio. Perry, I think, is leaning, though I'm starting to get a bit worried about him. It's a Democrat trending seat, and I know the rest of the ticket crap the bed in this seat, but how long does Scott Perry have in Pennsylvania 10th before it gets brutal? Got it to be determined. Now, Chris Deluzio is not going to lose in Pennsylvania 17th. I think his margin did get inflated by bad turnout, and Oz and Moss are doing terrible in this region, but I still think he's going to win by a few points. Susan Wild, I think this is going to be the campaign of her life. This is going to be the closest she comes to losing in her entire career. And I think she will lose one of these elections, but it is to be determined. Now, one candidate, though, that I think I'm in a good spot to say is done, or I should say is looking to be done in 24, is Matt Cartwright. Despite the rest of the ticket crapping the bed, Cartwright had his worst performance in his career in Pennsylvania 8th. He only won by 2.5. He usually wins by quite a bit more. So, with a presidential year and a Trump plus 3 seat that is shifting red, I think this is the seat that gets Republicans the House majority. That doesn't mean that it's 100% guaranteed. I just think Cartwright, as of now, he's not looking in a good situation. So I think it is leaning Republican. Now, before we continue, South Carolina, we're just to keep the safe Republican because redistricting, we got to wait and see when it comes to that. Now we got the state of Virginia. Jen Kagan should hold on. She won by a comfortable margin against an incumbent. Now she's an incumbent. It's only a Biden plus 2 seat. Plus, there is some hope that this part of the state is shifting a bit Republican, though I think we will tell in 23 if what happened 21 was a fluke or not. We just gotta see. While Spanberger, I don't think is gonna lose. I hate to say it, but Vega did not do good at all. She lost by 5. I mean, if she only lost by a point, maybe. But I think as of now, Spanberger will hold on in Virginia 7th. Now we get Washington. And there are 2 seats that are somewhat, quote-unquote, competitive. Washington 8th, that's borderline safe. In fact, I will make this a safe seat as of now. I just think that I don't see how Republicans pull it off in Washington 8th. She did better than Biden in this seat, especially with Smiley doing a bit better than Trump statewide. It's not pretty. Now, Maria Perez, the most overrated candidate in this country. She only won because Kent had to go through a primary, a dogfight of a primary. Let me be clear, that was brutal. And, well, she got out scot-free. And, quite frankly, Joe Kent, I can't trust him on some things, but I think, especially now that it's going to have a higher turnout election, plus we may have somebody like Jim Walsh, which I hear he will run for the House seat, especially if it's Jim Walsh. I think Marie Perez will hold off. Now if it's Joe Kent again, that's going to be closer than I would want it to be. Now the final map, Wisconsin. I hate this. I absolutely hate that I have to have 2 competitive seats in Wisconsin. Because the redistricting, that's probably going to happen. Now, Brian Steele is one of the biggest overperformers in Wisconsin. He will win. Even with a Biden plus 2 or 3 seat, he's a pretty big overperformer. Plus, people seemingly forget he raised a lot of freaking money the past couple of months. He may run for a Senate seat. I don't think he will, but I think Brian Steele is in a good situation to hold on. I mean, he has Kenosha and Racine, which are shifting right, kind of negating some of the trends in some parts of his district. But Wisconsin 3rd, my man Van Orden. Oh, no. Oh, no. It comes down to how far do they redistrict. And, oh, man, I hate to do this. I hate to do this to Van Orden, He's a freshman congressman, and overall, he's probably my 2nd or 3rd favorite congressman from the Wisconsin delegation. Tiffany's number 1, obviously. Van Orden's probably his 2nd or 3rd. I like him, but I hate to do this. I think he's going to probably lose in 24, unless they don't redistrict as much as they do, and or the seat has another shift to the right that we do not see. Now, the one thing that may save Van Orden is Trump. This is a perfect seat that, with Trump on the ballot, if it swings 3 or 4 points Republican, and let's say they make it Biden plus 1 or Biden plus 2, then I think Van Orden holds on. But I have a feeling they're going to make some egregious gerrymander where it splits through Madison somehow, it cuts, a place like Grant in half, La Crosse is gutted. It's going to be a mess. But I think for now, you probably see Van Orden lose just because of the nonsensical redistricting that's probably going to happen in 2024. But I think he has a chance of winning. I think it will be a close race, and it does depend what happens with redistricting. So this, folks, is my current House prediction for 24. Yeah, it's going to come down to whether redistricting goes well for us in New York and North Carolina. North Carolina is a guarantee. Wisconsin to be determined. But I think, just to be safe, I think Van Orden does lose if they go as far as I think they're going to go. Anyways, folks, thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy this video, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the Twitter accounts in the description down below, and join the channel today. Thank you so much. Godspeed to all of you.